as we told you yesterday, our serial stalker has now been charged. John Douglas GRIFFIN will be facing Ipswich Magistrates Court on January 17th, charged with a number of offences, most notably the misuse of a carriage service to harass, menace or to cause offence. And we had an interview yesterday with one of his past victims, a bloke by the name of Dave, and we said yesterday that we urged others to contact us if they had any issues. Well, someone we have been in touch with, her name is Tania, and she has a bit of a story to tell. So live on the air now, Tania, welcome to the show, and welcome to the VFE network.
Hi, Craig, and thank you very much.
Now, you have quite a bit of information to do with this, because you've experienced your own harassment from this Mr. GRIFFIN, and over a substantial period of time. Now, we should point out straight away that as we've said yesterday, there are legal proceedings, not just the criminal case, but a civil case as well, proceeding against Mr. GRIFFIN. And so there are some things we can't discuss in our interview today, being that you are somewhat related to those. But there have been things in more recent times since those proceedings have started. Just give us a bit of background on that.
Yes, since John discovered that I was involved in the civil proceedings against him, I became a target, and I quite often found my name mentioned in the breaking news section of his website, and apparently he was doing numerous investigations against me and was going to reveal information to the public which wasn't true. I got tired of this because he was trying to destroy my reputation. I have a Facebook page and a website called Offenders Exposed, and I expose domestic violence offenders, child abusers and sex offenders. And John was tarnishing my reputation by saying that I was ripping people off, I was a con artist, etc., etc. But it wasn't just me that he was targeting. There were other people that he was targeting as well, and I really got sick of it. So around the 27th of December last year, I finally had enough, and I sent John an email asking him to please stop it. He not only harasses people who have autism, he harasses people who are unemployed, he harasses people with disabilities, and I've just been diagnosed with cancer, so he's been harassing me as well. So I tried to plead to any sense of humanity that man may have, with the hope that he would stop his harassment. And he didn't. In actual fact, about 1:50 a.m. on the 28th of December, I received my first email from him in reply to the original one that I sent him. And basically, he started posing me and harassing me. He's under the impression that I have harassed his mother, which is a lie. So he's constantly had a go at me about his mother. Now, the first email came through at 10 to 2 in the morning. One of the final emails I got was around 4:56 p.m. on the 28th. One of the emails, and I'll say this word for word, is the cancer-ridden idiot still talking. Some of the emails that I received from John mentioned that he hopes I die in pain. That Aboriginal law will get me, that the elders up north have cast a spell on me, so forth and so forth. This went on. I got close to 40, maybe 50 emails from him in that period of time.
Just in that period of time? Like that many emails?
10 to 2 in the morning until around 4:56 that day on the 28th.
And bear in mind, this is right around Christmas. Like everyone's, like the week between Christmas and New Year, everyone should be just enjoying themselves and relaxing. Meanwhile, he's sitting up to all hours emailing you this sort of crap.
Oh, he did wish me a Merry Christmas. He said, "Merry Christmas, whore."
Oh. Charming.
So yeah, he called my whole family drug dealers. He's going to expose me on national TV for I don't know what. He claims that I've been drink driving around Brisbane area during COVID lockdowns, etc. I don't drink and I don't drive around the areas during the lockdown. But it goes on and on and on. He's got these delusions in his head. He plays them out in his head. I think that he believes that they're true, and he uses his radio station and his position on the radio station to voice his delusions and harass people.
And it's like I said earlier on in our show today, I was talking about this and the fact, I mean, it's disgusting enough that a so-called decent human being or an alleged decent human being and a citizen of the community is going to do this stuff anyway. But when they're trying to represent themselves as a professional media identity, and we already know, we discussed this yesterday on the show about his exposure by a current affair in 2015 when he was pretending to work for them and work for Big Brother and The Voice and a bunch of other shows, and they called him out on that. It just astounds me that that someone who claims to be so professional, has been in the industry for so long, doesn't think that this is unacceptable by any standards. I mean, I've seen bullying in the media, but this goes beyond the pale.
No, this is not even. This is way beyond bullying. This is. I can't even come up with a word to describe it. It is harassment to the extreme. It's over the top. He's anything but professional. He doesn't know how to conduct himself professionally. He considers himself to be a journalist. I don't know how many times he's put me in the breaking news section and said that he was doing an investigation and it will be live on air with the John Griffin show, and then that following day he's not even on the show. He's probably the lowest form of humanity I've ever come across in my life, and I'm nearly 50 years old.
Absolutely, and I mean we've seen evidence of this ourselves because we've been investigating this for quite some time, and this website of his. To clarify for the listeners, he has a website for his, if you can call it a radio station, but he has a website for that, and he has a breaking news section with latest news headlines, and it's mostly used to copy and paste things from other sources and basically slag people off, for want of a better way of putting it. That's exactly what it's used for. And we've seen evidence of this for a long time now. So, it seems that, you've become a target through that method as well. And it's just like Dave was saying on our show yesterday, he was, threatening Dave with sending people up to Mackay and, saying that he was in a street nearby and things like that. And we've heard this and seen this from so many different people.
I actually got a phone call from the police one day, Craig. Yes, it was quite interesting actually. John Griffin claimed that I was harassing him, and he went into a police station in tears, crying to the police officers. Tania's harassing me. She's sending people to my house. The police rang and asked me what was going on. So once I explained to them exactly what was going on and that no, I haven't sent anybody to his house. In actual fact, my son knocked on the door, spoke to his mother in an attempt to get John to take the stuff down that was put up on the website. By the time I'd finished talking to the police officer, he hung up the phone. He was quite happy with what I'd had to say. I find it quite bizarre that John, of all people, after what he's been doing to people for so many years, would have the nerve to go into a police station in tears to claim that I was harassing him.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely unbelievable. I'm half expecting that we'll see a similar put on of the waterworks in his court appearances, no doubt, because it's just absolutely appalling that that someone can behave like this. I mean, as I said, I've had my experience with online bullying. I've had my experience with online trolls. I've dealt with all this stuff over many years, but. And even in the media, I mean, we do get our share of people that, will call up radio stations and things like that and start a bit of trouble. But usually they're pretty harmless. They do their little bit and they go away. But this guy is just relentless. And you're basically, as I said to Dave yesterday, you are essentially telling a very similar story to what countless others have told in just, as I say, the last 6 years that we know of since the current affair story in 2015.
Oh, exactly. The threat Apparently there's a friend of his who wants to catch up with me, and that was the threat. The threats of the elders, Aboriginal elders, putting a spell on me. Now he's calling me a racist. Little does he know that I have very close friends that are Indigenous people. I have close friends from all across the world, and the last thing I am is a racist. He grasps at straws. He's probably the most obsessive person I've ever come across. He has a real issue with being obsessed with his target.
And there's so many stories, and it seems to me too that it's not. I mean, it's he'll target pretty much anybody. From what I've seen, women do seem to be a favoured target. I'm not sure exactly why, but I've seen a lot of comments from women on the current affair posts that say that he was targeting them in different ways and threatening them, and it's just like. Honestly, who's got? If you're supposedly a media professional and you're running a professional outfit yourself, then how have you got the time to do all this? Like, how are you finding the spare time? Because trust me, knowing from running the VFE network, which is 4 stations, a Mixcloud channel, a YouTube channel, and a 5th station on the way, there's so much work to do on a daily basis. You don't stop. So I don't understand how, this guy just thinks that it's acceptable by any standard, both in law or in human decency, to carry on like this to anybody, especially people that he doesn't know as well.
Exactly. All I did with John, the only way I met John was from an interview. He contacted me one day and he interviewed me on the radio. That was my first interaction with John. Down the track, when I found out what type of person John was by the attitude that he displayed towards me, I stood back and I kept my distance from him. I only really had anything to do with John for maybe 6 weeks, and he left me alone for quite some time. And then I was re-interviewed again by somebody else. John was not happy, and he began to target me. He believes that women are beneath him. I've heard some of the most disrespectful things come from his mouth about women. He believes that we're a fairer sex and that we're easy targets. He couldn't be anything further than the truth. It boggles the mind, and I just wonder, where has all this come from? And it says a lot about what he's developed in his own mindset over a great amount of time. What type of person sitting up at 10 to 2 in the morning sending out harassing emails? Yeah, that exactly. A lot. And continues on throughout the day. I do believe he did stop for a nap at some stage, or he was busy because the emails dropped off for about an hour or two, and then they started again. So that was almost 12 hours of emails constantly. Yeah, as I said, it boggles the mind. And right around the holiday season too. I mean, like I said, everyone should, the week between Christmas and New Year, hell, half the country shuts down anyway. So, you should be enjoying that time. If honestly, if somebody thinks that's a hobby, get a new hobby. That's all I can say about it. Get some help. Yeah, absolutely. Get some serious help. He's serious, and this is not. I'm not making fun of the situation. I'm not having a dig. I'm being 100% honest. That man needs help. Anybody that now we all know this date. We can date this back to 2015 on that current affair post that was on social media for quite some time. Many people came forward about their interactions with John. That was neighbours, business owners, people right across the board have mentioned their experiences on that interview. So we can date that back to at least 2015. We're in 2022 now, and that man has not stopped. And it seems like unless the courts act, which hopefully they will now with 2 lots of proceedings happening as we speak, we're all hoping that something is done about this once and for all, and that people can actually get on with their lives and not have to worry about people like this just constantly in their space. Because even if it is just online, like I've had people say to me that, it's just online, you can just switch it off, you can just switch it off. There is no feeling like waking up every morning wondering what sort of crap you are going to cop that day when it's that relentless. What gives him the right to do that? Exactly. What gives him the right? And not only that, look, like yourself, I have, well, my name's well known with the work that I did through my Facebook page. Over 160,000 followers. I was in the media. Current Affairs did a story on me. People know who I am. I do not need somebody like John Griffin constantly getting on the radio and trying to discredit my reputation with his life. Now, same with you, Craig. You have a business, you have a radio station, you have a job, you have a life. You don't need somebody like John Griffin getting on the radio and constantly harassing you, threatening you, discrediting your reputation. It's a feeling of being violated on a daily basis when somebody does that and tries to disrupt your life. It's horrific.
It absolutely is, and as I say, I've been personally, and as I say, I can't say too many details, but it's been going on for us here for 18 months, and it's only been in more recent times we've actually been able to start getting things happening to actually make a difference and do something about it. So I'm really hoping that these legal proceedings will actually go a long way to sorting a lot of that stuff out.
I'm so relieved for you that it's that these proceedings are in place and that they are happening, because I went to the police and they wouldn't even take my statement. I went to 4 different police stations. They would not even take my statement. They were not interested. They would not do anything.
Well, as
now that there's somebody who has taken this matter seriously and he has been charged.
And as we've said, and we put this call out yesterday, if you're listening and you've had interactions with this John Douglas GRIFFIN, if he's harassed you, threatened you in any way, we urge you to contact Queensland Police, because there is a file. There's charges that are in place now. There's been a 12-month investigation and evidence is still coming in, and they are always eager to hear from more people. So get on. If you have been a victim of John Griffin, get on to Queensland Police immediately, and they will pass that information on to the people that need to know within the force. It's very crucial that we make this happen and we see justice done once and for all, not just for myself, not just for you, Tania, but for every single victim this man has created over many, many years.
Thank you for that, Craig, because I am going to give it another go, and I am going to contact the police again now that he has been charged, and I am going to forward them the information, the screenshots, the audio, the emails that I have, and now finally that there is charges pending against him, they might take my matter seriously.
Absolutely. And we thank you so much for telling your story here on the VFE network, Tania. We look forward to being able to hopefully get some good news for you in the not too distant future. We will keep covering this story as long as it takes here on VFE Variety and Lunchtime Live. And Tania, thank you so much for talking to us. We'll catch up with you again very, very soon, hopefully with some very good news.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and have a great day and all the best with this, and I hope everything turns out the way it should.
Thank you so much, Tania. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Craig. Bye.
That is Tania, another victim of the serial stalker that we've been talking about since yesterday on the show. John Douglas GRIFFIN, who, as we said, is facing charges now of misuse of a carriage service to harass, menace, or to cause offence. He is facing court on January 17th in Ipswich. And it's the culmination of a 12-month investigation, and there's still more evidence coming in. Make sure, if you are a victim or you know someone that has been a victim of Mr. GRIFFIN, make sure you contact Queensland Police Service ASAP and give them the relevant information. They will be sure to pass it on to the investigating officers that are handling, gathering all the evidence for this criminal case. And we will keep you up to date here on VFE Variety as much as possible.
Craig D's Lunchtime Live on VFE Variety.